Hello everybody, welcome to my channel, Hannah's Homes. If you don't know who I am, my name's Hannah Farbstein and I am a real estate agent. I've been a licensed realtor for the last 3 years now. I'm licensed in Missouri and in Arizona. I now live full-time in Arizona. I am a native. I'm from here, but I went to college in Missouri and that's where I got licensed originally. And then I moved back to Arizona a couple years ago and now I'm full-time practicing here. But just good to know I'm still licensed and I have a real estate degree. I love to say that I eat, breathe, and sleep real estate at this point because it's been my life the last 4 to 5 years. I am taking you guys through the process of buying my first home at 21. I was 21 at the time. I'm 22 now. And if any of my clients are seeing this, they're probably gonna be shocked because I don't tell anybody my age. I went through the process of buying my first home last year. It was so fun, it was so exciting. It didn't really take long at all. I knew exactly what I wanted and what we were looking for. So we went through multiple houses. I would say we went through 6. And what we were really looking for were townhomes. And being our first house, we were really just looking for ultimately what could be the best rental option in about a year or 2. When you're going into your first home, I try to take as much advice as I give to my clients that I do for myself. So what I tell my clients that are buying their first homes is don't be looking for your forever home, your dream home, everything that you want. It doesn't need to check all your boxes because you're probably only going to live in this house for maybe 2 to 5 years at the max. I doubt they'll even live in it in 5 years. But the goal is to just keep buying a property every few years or so. That way you're living below your means, but you're building a real estate portfolio as well. And then you can build your way up to the house you really want eventually. But when it's your first house, you're not going to live in it for long. It's going to hopefully become a rental anyways. That way you can cash flow every month. So that's really what we were looking for. Let's jump right into the properties we saw. We saw about 6 properties total, I would say, and I want to say we offered on 3 of them, possibly. I can't quite remember. We purchased last year in August. It was just perfect timing. We got a stellar interest rate. That was amazing. Definitely a bonus to buying last year. You could still lock in low interest rates today, so don't be concerned. There's still pre-pandemic rates at this point, but that was definitely a bonus to help keep our mortgage affordable. There was no really hard no's because we were so flexible and we just wanted a house. There's only 3 that we'll be looking at in these videos. I would say before these houses that I'm going to show you guys, we had seen 2 other properties. They didn't work out, obviously. We wrote an offer on one. Thankfully, it got rejected because now looking back on it, I'm so glad we didn't get that house because we ended up getting the one we bought for cheaper. So everything works out. So let's jump right into the property. The first property I'm going to show you guys is a 2-bedroom, 2.5 bathroom townhouse, and it was newly built, so that was definitely a bonus for us. It was built in 2017. It had a community pool. It was right off of the freeways like we were wanting, so that was just amazing. It was listed for $330 at the time, so it was right in our wheelhouse. It was super crisp, clean. It had the white cabinets, the quartz counters, the plank tile flooring. It was just beautiful and it definitely caught our eye. We both loved this property. Aiden was obsessed. Aiden's my boyfriend and I was also obsessed. So the pictures made it look super stale, so I didn't really have high hopes going into it. Like it just looked, I don't know how to describe it, but I can get a pretty good feel by photos. Since I'm a realtor, I know if it's kind of like BS or not, if you will. So going into it was a super big shock. It was way better than I expected. It had plenty of space. The only downsides I would say is that it was a 2-bedroom. It was great that both bedrooms had their own bathrooms. That was definitely a plus, but it was only 2 bedrooms. And there wasn't a lot of outdoor space. There was a little tiny balcony, but it was on a bedroom, so it wasn't like we could have guests up there. And I just don't think it was practical for us to really use. It was perfect location. It was, perfect size. It was 1,400 square feet, so not too big, not too small. And it was a townhouse that was newer like we wanted. The best part though was it had a 2-car garage, which is super hard to find in townhomes. So this was just the cherry on top for us because then Aiden could have somewhere to park as well as me. So we both had somewhere to park. That was just definitely ideal.
No, I like that.
So we need to go home before we go bowling and regroup. Huh?
No, we don't.
Yes, we do.
We know what we want to do.
All of them?
Yeah.
I'm gonna see if you look like you fit in. We don't look like we belong in here. It's too nice.
It's too, I know. That's what would be awesome. This is the one.
This is the one.
Look at that one.
He's a runner. He's a track star. He gonna run away when it gets hot. The second house we looked at was another 2-bedroom, but it was only 2 bathrooms, so no half bath, which was totally fine. That wasn't necessary. It was 1,227 square feet, so pretty small compared to the other units that we were looking at. A lot of them were in the 1,500 range. So again, though, we weren't picky. It was built in 2007. It also had a community pool. A lot of these townhomes do. Not that that was a super seller point, but so the thing about this one was it just felt pretty crammed, which we were honestly fine with. We really didn't care. It was just us two and our dog. It still is, but we love the bedroom spaces though. The bedrooms were great size and it was super bright in the bedrooms, which I love. There was windows on every corner. One was listed at $285 at the time and the HOA was $150 a month. So that would make our payments super cheap. I mean, this was by far the cheapest unit we saw, which is why we ultimately considered it, because it was still the location we were wanting. It had pretty much every box checked, so we were honestly considering putting an offer in on this one too. Okay, let's get into the last property we saw. A second story unit, so it's kind of like where the whole unit is on the second story, and the only thing that's on the main level is your garage and your front door. Only had a 1-car garage, so that was kind of unfortunate, but it was a 3-bedroom, it did have 2 bathrooms, and it was over 1,500 square feet. This one was listed at $315 at the time, and the HOA was $233 a month. So the HOA was definitely the steepest of the other ones we saw, but a bonus here was that the community was gated. That was great because it made us feel secure. It was in a good area. More importantly, it was so close to the freeway, I could probably like throw a rock at the freeway. Obviously, that comes with the sacrifice that there's noise, so that's something to think about for resale value and for when you're renting it out. However, it wasn't enough noise to bother us, and it was just so perfect for our daily commutes. The downside to this unit is it is a second story unit, which is totally fine, but we would have to be upstairs all the time, and our dog is old. She's 10 years old, so having to take her up and down those stairs every morning, we were a little afraid for her little legs. Something I tell clients is to not get excited when they look at houses. We're like, this is our room. This is my room. Okay, it's fine. It's not that great. Okay, so after seeing plenty of units, it was time to make a decision. We had put an offer in on one before, so we were already familiar with the process. We were totally fine. And as you guys could see in the video, we were kind of wanting to offer on all 3, which you can totally do. You just have to disclose to the seller that you're making multiple offers. It's called a multiple offer addendum. So that was something we considered as well, but I will let you guys guess which unit you think we ended up getting. If you can't tell from my background, we ended up going with house number 3. We did put an offer in on house number 1, the pretty white bright house is what we'll call it, and we did not get it. Rightfully so. We had been beaten out by higher offers that had waived the appraisal contingency. This is something I never advise my clients to do. I hate waiving the appraisal contingency. Obviously, it's inevitable in some situations, but I really only do it if my clients are comfortable with it, if they have plenty of funds to feel comfortable with this, etc. I didn't want to do it in my case because I wasn't so in love with all of the properties that I just had to do this and put everything on the line and whatever. We did an appraisal shortfall, which means that you'll pay X amount of dollars over the appraised value, but you don't agree to waiving the entire contingency. So a shortfall is basically saying, okay, we'll pay $350 for the house, but if it doesn't appraise, we'll pay $5,000 over the appraisal value. That way, if the property appraised at $330, we would pay $335, or if the property appraised at $340, we would pay $345. It would only be an additional $5K out of pocket on top of our down payment. Fortunately, they went with a really similar offer that had completely waived the appraisal, but it all worked out in the end. So we ended up offering again on property number 3. This property was listed at $315 and the HOA was $233 a month. The HOA was definitely the steepest we had seen, but again, it was gated and it had a couple of amenities like a community pool and a dog park that was great as well. We ended up going in at $320. We were the first offer on the table. We did write a letter. We were super on top of communication with them. We came in at $320 with a $5,000 appraisal shortfall and a 3-week closing. Luckily, I had a great lender that I knew I had worked with a lot, and she was able to push that for us. So we were able to give them a super strong offer, and they accepted it. So as you can tell, we are in the house now. I will try to do a tour eventually of the house. That way you guys can see how we have it set up. We still need some like wall decorations, but we have it completely furnished at this point, so that's great. Having to pay only $5,000 over the asking price was definitely a privilege because I kind of read each situation differently. There was one property we went in, I think 15 to 20 over asking, and we still didn't get it. And there was one property that we went 10 over asking and did a $10,000 appraisal shortfall, and we still didn't get it. So it's really important that your agent calls the listing agent and sees where offers are. That way you don't overspend on a house. Because in this case on the house we got, there was only 2 to 3 offers on the table, I believe. So we knew that we didn't really have to go 15 grand over asking if we didn't want to. So now I'm gonna jump into all the figures that we actually paid. I want this to be super transparent with all of the fees we paid and everything. So I have my laptop up here and I'm gonna tell you exactly what we paid. It was listed at $315, but we offered $320,000 and we were putting 10% down. So 10% of $320 is going to be $32,000. So if you're calculating your closing costs, which are costs that are paid at closing is when you take possession of the property, you're going to have to account for anywhere from 2 to 3% of the purchase price on top of your down payment for closing costs. So our total closing costs were $6,935.47. As soon as your offer is accepted, we offered $320, right? As soon as our offer is accepted, we have to deposit something called earnest money within the first day of our offer getting accepted, and that is usually around 1% of the purchase price. It's basically like a security deposit or good faith money to show the seller that you're serious, you're gonna fulfill this contract, and this is the money I'm gonna put on the table to show you that. Just kind of add some skin in the game. Normally I'd say for a house like this you would do $3,000, but in this case I wanted to make our offer look stronger. So I put down $5,000 earnest money here, so that was an upfront cost that had to come out within the first week. The first week of going under contract, you're also going to want to do an inspection on the property. You have 10 days in the state of Arizona to do your due diligence and to bring an inspector in and basically tell you all the reasons why you shouldn't buy the house. Everything that makes it imperfect. Depending on the size of the house, if it has a pool, etc., it's going to be around probably $500 to $600. The earnest money is credited to you at closing, so that is what you take off from your balance. We have $6,000 upfront in the first week, and then we have our $32,000 down payment, less the $5,000 that we put down in the security deposit. So now when we get to closing, we owe $27,000 for our down payment, plus the $6,935.47 in closing costs. To bring $33,935.47 to the table, you can really kind of craft your loan to how you want it to be. You could put as low as 3% down, up to 20, 30, 40% down, whatever you want. So please don't be discouraged and think you have to put 10 to 20% down. That is absolutely not the case, and most of my buyers don't. Just want to let people know that it's totally tangible regardless of what age you are. I grew up with a single mom that went from rental to rental, so I never really knew what buying a home meant. So I'm so blessed to know what this is at a young age and help others also learn what it is and build generational wealth for their family as well. Thank you guys so much for watching my first video on how I bought my first house at 21. I'm so excited to add more to this channel and hopefully bring little, tokens of knowledge and wisdom for you guys. If you're looking for a home in the Phoenix area or the Arizona area, or the Missouri area, because I am licensed out there as well, please let me know and I would be happy to help. You can comment, DM me, whatever it is. I will link all of my socials down below. Please like and subscribe, and I'm looking forward to making some more videos for you.